Welcome to Motherhood from the Brain, a podcast guiding moms of preteen girls on how to navigate emotional challenges that are not addressed in school. We share real stories, expert advice, and brain-based methods for handling tough moments. Discover insights to create a deeper connection with your preteen and improve your motherhood journey. Let's tackle the uncharted territory of parenting together. Hosted by professional certified coach, Esther Babazi.
Before we begin, I want to share a brief disclaimer. I am not a psychiatrist, psychologist, or any other licensed mental health professional. On this podcast, Motherhood and the Brain, I share what has personally helped me improve my mental and emotional well-being. My hope is that by sharing my experiences, I might help even one mother out there who is struggling. Hi there. Welcome back to the Motherhood and the Brain podcast, episode number 40. I can't believe we are 40 episodes in. My name is Esther Babazi. If you are a mother listening today, this episode is for you, especially if you ever felt the pang of heart or frustration when your own parents aren't as involved in your kids' lives as you expected or as you want them to be. I've got some insights, a mindset shift, and a little encouragement for you today. So grab your coffee, sit down, and let's dive right in. Let's talk about something that I know many of us have felt: the disappointment when our own parents aren't as involved in our kids' lives as we imagined they would be. Maybe you expected them to step in, help out, or just be there for you and your kids, but instead they are quote-unquote distant, or they are not as hands-on as you hoped. I know this can feel heavy. I have heard many moms talk about this scenario. And while I am not going to share anyone's personal story, let me say this: I've heard many moms share their frustration with this exact situation. Maybe it's a grandparent who's physically there, but emotionally or practically not as present as you'd hoped. Or maybe you've had experiences where you felt like they weren't really engaging with your kids in the way that you felt right to you. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A big part of that pain you're feeling isn't just about their lack of involvement. It's about what's going on inside your own brain. You see, if you grew up with grandparents who were involved, who showed up for you and your parents, who gave you love and attention, your brain mapped that experience. Your brain learned that this is how things are supposed to be. This is how grandparents are supposed to act. But now, your reality does not match what your brain mapped out. Your reality does not match that expectation that you have. And because of that, your brain starts telling you there's a problem here, this isn't right, we need to fix it, what's going on here. And that's not totally normal. For anybody who has a human brain, that is totally normal. That is just how our brains work. Our brains are always on the lookout for patterns. And when things do not align with what we believe, our brains send up red flags to alert us that something or things are off. But here is the thing. Our brains will also find evidence for whatever it is that we believe in. So if you believe that your parents should be more involved than they are, your brain will go out to hunt evidence to prove that, to prove what you believe in. Your brain will focus on every little thing that isn't working, every moment that proves they are not stepping up to the plate the way that you wish they would. The problem is, this focus is on the negative. This focus brings up the negative things, which makes it harder to see what actually is working, to see what actually your parents, this little thing that your parents are doing, because you are too focused on what they are doing. You are not even seeing these simple things that they may be doing, because your brain is so fixated on finding the proof of what is missing. It's like wearing glasses that only let you see the things you're upset about and missing everything else that could actually bring you peace. So what if, just what if, instead of focusing on all the things your brain is telling you are wrong, all the things your brain is telling you your parents should be doing in your kids' lives, what if you started to question that sentence? What if you played with the idea of loosening the grip a little on the thought that grandparents should act a certain way and instead look for what is already happening? What if you could shift your focus away from what's not happening and start looking for even the small ways or good things your parents do? Or maybe, even if they are not as hands-on as you would like, maybe they support you in other ways that are just as valuable, but you will not be able to see them because you are fixed on how they should have been or how they should be doing things. And here's the beautiful part. If you begin to focus on those things, on the small things, however small, they will start to grow in your mind. Your brain will find evidence for that too. And when you begin to reframe the situation, that's when things start to shift. It's not about denying the heart, no, but it's about choosing where you place your attention and allowing a new path to emerge. Here's some powerful insight. You can also be kind to the part of your brain that is convinced that there is a problem. That part of your brain keeps looking for what's wrong. And that is its job. We are not judging. That is its job. We are not going to fight it, but we are just going to guide it towards where we want to go. Instead, you could acknowledge it, that part of your brain. I see you, brain. I understand you think there's a problem here. I understand you want to protect me or protect us, but everything is okay. It's fine. We are not in physical danger. My parents not showing up in my life the way that I want to is not a physical threat to my life or my kids' life. It is about acknowledging and taking care of that part of you. Because when you approach that part of your brain with compassion and softness and kindness, you create space to make new choices. You open up the possibility of seeing things differently, of possibilities of creating new pathways in your thinking. I normally say this. When a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old is eating their ice cream cone and the ice cream melts and it falls off the cone, it falls on the ground, they are distraught. But because for them, it is the end of the world. But you the adult knows that they will get another ice cream sometime, maybe later, maybe in the future. But you know that. But for them, they don't know that. That is why they are having that major tantrum. So this is the same thing that is happening. We are the teacher and we are the student. A part of us is the teacher and a part of our brain is the student. The job of the teacher is to guide the student, but you are one person doing both things. It's like having a bully, and a part of you is the bully and the other part is the one being bullied. So it is about this person that is being bullied understanding where the bully is coming from. It is the teacher's job to understand what is going on with the child, to calm down the child or the parent. We are one person, but we have two different contrasting parts of the brain. Unless we approach that part of the brain with kindness, it will not work. because many of us have been brought up to think that we can shame our way into change. We can beat ourselves up into change. We don't have to think that, don't think that, that is bad, don't believe that, that is bad. But without curiosity of where whatever you're thinking is coming from, change will be very hard. You need to understand why we think certain things, where they are coming from. Only then can we be able to change those things. Like I said, in this situation, if you grew up with grandparents who were doting on you, and all of a sudden your parents are not doing the same, your brain will freak out because it thinks this is the norm. Now that it is not the norm, your brain is throwing up all these things at you. But it is your job to take that part of the brain and calm it down, because you understand where it is coming from. When we focus on the shoulds, how things should have been, how things should not have been, that is when acceptance starts. We free ourselves from disappointment and open the door to peace. So today, I want to leave you with this. And be kind to that part of your brain that's trying to tell you there's a problem. It's not your enemy. It's not the devil. It's just doing its job. Meet it with compassion so you can create space for new thoughts, new evidence, and a new path forward. And that is when the real change will happen for you and your kids. And I'm not just saying this to minimize people's experiences. I'm not doing that. And I know how hard it is not having support. You know how they say it takes a village, but you can create your own village. Your village does not have to be your parents. You can create your own village. You can find your own resources. Your parents do not have to be your resource, because you're not going to force them. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. You cannot force them. At least you know that they don't want. This is how I choose to look at things. At least you know that your parents are not involved in your kids. You know that. So you can't count on them. You know where they stand. It's hurtful, yes, but we can create our own village. It's okay. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Talk to you again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Your time means the world to us. If you found this episode valuable, we would be immensely grateful if you could spare a moment to visit Apple Podcasts and share your thoughts through a review. Your feedback plays a vital role in helping fellow moms discover our podcast and enrich their own motherhood experiences. Take care, and bye for now.